the Mavericks on the verge of going from last year's Western Conference Finals to this year's lottery.
Talks like a duck, then you know it's worthy of an NBA investigation to make sure it's a duck. So it is for the league and the Dallas Mavericks, the team sitting the fellas who regularly fill up the box score Friday in an eventual loss to the Bulls. The loss cost Dallas any chance of participating in the play-in, playoff portion of the season.
I'm playing for an organization that doesn't want to compete, and we're tanking for a freaking 10th pick?
You went from knocking on that door to not even potentially being in the play-in. Right. That is a catastrophe.
I'm trying to go down as one of the greatest of all time, and I'm playing for some chumps.
The Dallas Mavericks just went from a 52-win Western Conference Finals team to a 38-win 11th seed in the prime of Luka Doncic's career. Yet despite that, they might have finally given Luka a reason to stay. I mean, if Luka's offseason is anything to go by, he's ready to bounce back in a serious manner. And that's because despite not making a huge trade, the Mavs simply upgraded across the board, bringing in multiple really solid role players, and for once, finally having some depth. I mean, the combination of Theo Pinson, Frank Ntilikina, and McKinley Wright played 1,200 minutes last year. That's how bad things were. This year, things are about to be different in Dallas. Very different. And before we talk about anyone else, we need to start by talking about Kyrie Irving. Despite what some people might say, Kyrie was not responsible for the mess of a season Dallas had last year. Prior to the Kyrie trade, the Mavs were not a good team. Following the Kyrie trade, they were still not a good team. However, that landed them a first-round pick, which resulted in Derek Lively, who can do things like this.
He puts it up. Smith through trial, rejected inside with another block by Lively. He's got it. Oh, a lot of traffic inside. Lively just knocked it away.
But we'll get to that a little bit later. Everyone needs to realize Kyrie Irving is still an elite offensive talent. In 60 games for Brooklyn and Dallas last year, he averaged 27, 5 and 5 on 49% from the field, 38% from 3, and 90% from the line. There were only 14 players in the NBA last season to average at least 25 points on over 60% true shooting, and Kyrie was one of them. Not exactly bad company. Now, as far as working with Luka Doncic, let's go back to March 3rd of this year. In just their 6th game together against an elite 76ers team, they combined for 82 points and 8 assists, shooting 64% from the field and 62% from 3. Watch here as Luka runs a pick and roll. With power drawing the help defender at Maxey, he's able to find Kyrie in the corner, who happens to be one of the best shooters off the catch in the NBA. In case you didn't know. Or how about here where Luka brings the ball up the floor? Green and Powell set screens, allowing Kyrie to curl off for the pull-up 3. This is in addition to the obvious cooking that they were doing in isolation, which isn't a bad thing. Kyrie and Luka isos are still good offense, and with the improved spacing, I can only see them being more dangerous this season. But I know what you guys are thinking. When are Dallas going to get serious about defense? Because the reason for their struggles last year was going from the 7th ranked defense to the 25th ranked defense. This is the part of the video where I introduce you guys to the two most underrated and overlooked players on this roster, Josh Green and Maxi Kleber. Yes, you heard me, the same Maxi Kleber that can do things like this. Right here is Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're probably familiar with him. He gets a full head of steam, yet Maxi is able to slide over whilst moving backwards and block him in mid-flight. Or how about this play where Maxi is shading Ivy in the pick and roll? Ivy makes a great pass, but Kleber makes an even better rotation, sliding over and blocking Duren on the move. Some people just see the single-digit points, but Kleber is a consistent three-point shooter who provides rim protection and switchability unlike anyone else on this Dallas roster. And if healthy, he's going to improve this defense drastically. That's just one side of defense though. The other side of defense is quick feet on the perimeter, and who better than Josh Green to be the lead point of attack defender for the Mavs. Take this play for example, where De'Aaron Fox has Green on an island. He tries to create separation with a bump, but doesn't go anywhere before getting his shot packed. Defensively, Green is a menace off the ball, using his instincts and athleticism to jump passing lanes and turn that into easy buckets. And trust me, his offense is no joke either. I mean, how many players can make 360 passes off the bounce? It was such a good pass that even Bertans hit the shot. The only slight issue is he's slightly undersized guarding bigger wings. That's a good thing that Dallas recognized they needed a physical wing defender then, isn't it? And that's why they brought in this guy. Do I need to remind you guys that Grant Williams guarded Giannis for a large portion of the 2022 playoffs and did a pretty damn good job? Anytime Giannis puts his head down and still can't create separation, yeah, that guy is pretty strong. But if you really want to get excited about his defensive ability, watch this play. Giannis brings it up in transition. He backs it out before handing it off to Holiday. Grant shades Holiday before then sliding over and blocking Giannis. That's in addition to being able to slide his feet on the perimeter and bang in the post against centers, forwards, you name it. These are the reasons why the Mavs paid him, and alongside Luka and Kyrie, he might just be a perfect fit. And we should probably talk about Luka, because whilst the roster was bad last year, he had a slightly underwhelming season. Yes, he is the first player to average 32, 8, and 8 and have an underwhelming season, but that's just how good he is. And let's not sugarcoat it, defense was the main problem with Luka, like the rest of the team. Look no further than this game against Atlanta. With their season on the line, Luka decided defense was optional. There's 6 minutes left in the game with one score separating the two teams. And watch here as he pretends to close out on DeJounte, letting him blow straight past him. And that was just one of many instances from that game and last season where he really just didn't show any effort on the other side of the floor. But that's in the past. Luka looks in shape and ready to have a huge season. I think you can make a serious argument that he has actually become underrated. Let me just remind everyone that these are Luka Doncic's career playoff averages. I mean, it was only a year ago when he embarrassed the entire city of Phoenix and everyone involved with that franchise, hitting shot after shot after shot, including the dagger of all daggers before the half had even concluded.
Down goes Johnson, 3, Luka, bullseye. They're shredding him.
That's playoff Luka, and I expect to see him back there, because not only did the Mavs bring in a much-needed 3-and-D wing, along with 2 rookies that might make an impact immediately, but they also added some shooting, and oh yeah, a reliable big man. Richaun Holmes fell out of the rotation in Sacramento last year, but prior to that, over the course of 3 seasons, he averaged 12 and 8 on 65% from the field, which isn't your typical 65% shooting either. He's a supremely skilled big man within 5 to 10 feet of the basket, using hook shots and floaters, and even doing things like this. Here he has Embiid on an island. Yes, you heard me. Watch as Holmes crosses him up before driving, faking him out, and finishing softly. Hello? We aren't going to pretend he didn't just saute Joel Embiid. And if you think that was a fluke, how about this crossover and finish on Sabonis? Yeah, if Richaun Holmes can get back to the level he was at prior to last year, he's going to feast alongside Luka Doncic at an absolute bargain of a price. The same could be said for Seth Curry, who you know is statistically one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. Don't even get me started on Dante Exum, who is like Frank Ntilikina if he could shoot and play offense. I'm not sure if that's a compliment. But anyways, we've clearly reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.